Hello and welcome to Fresno State Focus. I'm Gio Alvarado.
And I'm Carissa King.
The Fresno State Blood Drive is back. After a shortage of blood donors this past year because of COVID, the Central Valley Blood Center is back on campus this week. Cassidy Lopez tells us all about it.
The Central California Blood Drive is back on campus for the first time since the pandemic. They usually have 3 blood drives a year at Fresno State, but were unable to do any last year. Normally, Fresno State donors give about 600 pints, if not more, per blood drive. But last year, the center only got 20 Fresno State donors because of the pandemic. Now that the blood drive can take place on campus again, the Blood Center hopes this year the number of donors will go back up.
We just want to encourage everybody, if it's your first time, if it's your third time, to give it a try. You can save up to 3 lives with 1 donation, and it's going to be local lives here in our Central Valley. It could be somebody that you know and that you love, or a family member. You never know who is going to be using your blood.
The Blood Center provides blood to 19 hospitals in the Central Valley. If the center doesn't have enough blood to provide to the hospitals, then the hospitals are unable to provide blood to their patients. One Fresno State student did his first blood donation on campus. Now it is something he doesn't even think twice about.
But now it's like, when you do something habitually, it becomes like a routine. It's become something like that, so I don't really have a second thought about it.
The blood drive will take place on campus April 15th and 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. They will be giving out prizes to those who donate.
For those of you wanting to participate in the blood drive will be right here on campus at the North Gym. Cassidy Lopez, Fresno State Focus.
For more information on how you could donate blood or even host your own blood drive, visit donateblood.org.
College Decision Day is right around the corner. The anticipation is building to bring this campus back to life as incoming freshmen begin their college journey.
I visited a few times in high school, and then I've been to a baseball game, football game, so it was fun, I felt like I belonged there type of thing.
This past year, other CSU schools reported a decline in enrollment, while Fresno State announced a record high enrollment of 25,000 students. Incoming freshmen must make their college decisions by May 1st. Men, and specifically men of color, have a low college retention rate, especially in the CSU system. The Fresno State Men's Success Initiative is a program focused on helping men stay in school and stay on their path to success. The initiative offers multiple resources. As you can see on their webpage, it can be found under the student involvement link on the main Fresno State website.
We want to approach these programmings in a very unique way that men recognize this program is for me, for a person who identifies as a man.
Because of COVID, people are gathering and learning through webinars instead of in person, still finding a way to have a human connection between students and men who are leaders in higher education.
Another group of men is giving back, the Sigma Nu Fraternity. This past Friday, they gave out packages to homeless people in Fresno. Robert Ortega Jr. gives us a look at how the Sigma Nu was able to get back in touch with this community.
It has socks, it has nail clippers.
Down Blackstone Avenue in central Fresno, you'll see scattered glimpses of homeless people down different parts of the intersecting streets. It was through here that the brothers of Sigma Nu would pull over and hand out care packages to folks they spotted while driving along. The Sigma Nu House would normally play host to philanthropic events and fundraisers with other organizations in the Greek community. But with COVID restrictions, the brothers found this as their opportunity to still be able to give back. Together, the brothers sat down and constructed the care packages. Each bag contained a pair of socks, nail clippers, a box of tuna and crackers, lip balm, cleaning wipes, and bandages. From here, the brothers divided into separate cars and went out to find homeless folks to give the bags to.
If we're looking to serve these people one day, we at least have to communicate with them. So doing little things like this, handing out goodie bags like what we're doing right now, is definitely humbling.
This was the first time the fraternity did community service in this manner, but it left them with a sense of joy and a new experience to continue in the future.
It was pretty cool. I met this guy named Dwayne. I handed him the bag. He seemed super excited. He was really happy. Fist bumped them. It was cool.
In Fresno, Robert Ortega Jr., Fresno State Focus.
Community service is a long-standing tradition for the men of Sigma Nu. They plan on continuing to adapt to maintain a positive presence in their community. With more businesses opening back up indoors, many restaurants are hiring. Campus Point is a popular student hangout with lots of restaurants. These restaurants have been missing out on student traffic during the pandemic, but are slowly getting busy again. Wahoo's, Biology, and Math are all hiring. These job opportunities are steps away from Fresno State and can be found on Hire Fresno State through your student portal. If you think that once you enroll in fall classes, you're done with visiting your portal, think again. Because of the changes of public health to COVID, some classes may change from being taught in person to online. So just because the class you enroll in says it's on campus, it could still become virtual. So be sure to check your Fresno State Focus portal. Again, fall class starts on August 23rd. Coming up on Fresno State Focus, we take a look at how the RTDNA Club has pulled off its virtual transition in the pandemic while still giving students a lot of networking and enrichment opportunities.
Plus, we'll share some important tips for buying that next car.
And so they're in here hanging out with me, learning a little bit. So I just want to...
I personally like to cook. I like to read.
Here in the valley, our colors are blue and our waves are red. Bulldog born and bulldog bred. Generations linked forever by traditions that have stood the test of time. Inside our stadiums, we are one. This is our valley, and this year, we're doing it for you.
At Fresno State, being bold means committing to something greater than yourself. It's learning by doing and nurturing leaders to advance our shared future. It's using research to create a better life for those around us and healing those who need us most. These are our stories, because at Fresno State, bold begins here.
It's rodeo season. Pro rodeo cowboy Lefty Holman has not been on the road as much because of COVID, but he's getting ready for the big Clovis rodeo, and he's glad to be back.
Tremendously, just like everybody else. We make a living going to these rodeos, so whenever they say, hey, instead of 100, you may be lucky if you go to 40, it's obviously going to hurt our pockets. And the thing about last year is you may win some money, but you spend more money going to the rodeos, but you're trying to make the NFR to get some more money in your pocket, obviously, for yourself. So it's just a risk you got to take, and it's such an amazing sport. All these rodeo committees are pushing for these rodeos, and it means the world to us. So Clovis.
Hey, Lefty, this looks good too. Lefty Holman, so far so good, no mistakes. That might be the best spur ride yet. Excellent ride for Lefty.
Clovis is kind of my hometown rodeo, only being 40 minutes from my house, and I've never been able to compete at the Clovis rodeo due to injuries the last, 3 years. I've been hurt every year. Clovis having the rodeo this year, we're so grateful. Every single rodeo we go to, we talk to the committee people and just tell them how grateful we are, because it's such a hard thing in this day and age, and the PRSA has been great, so hopefully all this stuff goes away, but it's been tough.
Thank you, Lefty, for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I appreciate doing it. We'll see you guys at the Clovis rodeo.
You can always get your rodeo tickets Monday through Saturday at the Clovis Rodeo Ticket Office in Old Town Clovis.
Many of us find it tough to stay inside during the pandemic, but it is important to remember that there are plenty of options for entertainment and self-development at home. Here are some things that you could do to keep yourself active. Read books, learning new recipes, decorating your room, playing with your pet. A Fresno State student shares other few ideas.
I personally like to cook. I like to read. I do paint and draw a little bit, but not very well, but I try my best. And I crochet in my free time.
Social distancing and home quarantine doesn't have to be gloomy. It may be a great opportunity to develop some skills or find a new hobby.
Meeting in person, face-to-face, and interacting with others are just a few things on the list that club members and officers are missing these days. Clubs have made quite a few changes due to the pandemic. Jaslyn Villapando shows us how clubs at Fresno State are doing.
The Radio Television Digital News Association, known as the RTDNA Club, is a club that networks with professionals in the media. Before the pandemic, they would tour newsrooms and radio stations. The transition of in-person to virtual has been challenging for many clubs, but also has had its advantages. Tony Salazar, the president of the RTDNA Club, has found successful new ways to connect club members with media professionals via Zoom.
You know, everything being done virtually has been a lot easier to coordinate just because everybody has Zoom, everybody knows how to work Zoom. So that has been easier to coordinate like our workshops and our events.
Panels and workshops have been put together for anyone to join, like club members and faculty. Although it has given the club an opportunity to connect with directors and producers from different states, there are also some disadvantages.
However, one thing that I've seen that our club has kind of battled with is the participation. I mean, students are already, many of them are struggling just doing the whole virtual because it's new to all of us. And I feel like that has been the hard part, is getting just, students into our club,
The club officers put together a video introducing themselves, hoping to recruit more students. Outreach specialists Anna Cruz and other officers decided what they should offer for members.
I'm a senior majoring in MCJ. This semester, we did have free memberships, so you didn't have to pay the $20 to be part of the club. That's because, as a pandemic, we tried to be lenient and more helpful because I know students are going through stuff as we are.
Other clubs like the Political Science Club has struggled to gather members to join the meetings, but has had a success connecting with law students and mentors from around the world. Secretary Guadalupe Cruz says it has made her and other members closer.
Like a lot of the members that we have are taking similar classes, and so we can kind of talk about it there. So it's like a blessing in disguise, basically.
Becoming a club member could be as easy as filling out a questionnaire and hitting the submit button. And you're still able to interact with others and make those connections. Fresno State Focus, Jaslyn Villapando.
Clubs have had advantages and disadvantages during the pandemic, but are making the best out of it with their virtual events.
The Save the Tower Theater movement marches on. A court recently denied a request by the Sequoia Brewing Company to stop the sale of the Tower Theater to Adventist Church. The escrow for that sale expired. When a property is in escrow, the buyer and the seller enter an exclusive agreement until the sale has closed. With the future of the theater still unclear, activists are busy planning their next move.
Letter writing campaigns, contacting Congress and City Council and the mayor to let them know this is not just a Tower District issue, this is a Fresno issue.
The movement plans to focus exclusively on the issue of zoning going forward. Activists believe holding religious services in the theater violates current zoning laws and helps to pressure city officials to uphold those zoning laws.
Fresno Tower District is getting creative this weekend. This Saturday, April 17th, the Tower District is hosting their own first ever Porch Fest. There will be over 45 local musicians playing on over 30 porches in the area. You can either walk or bike through the neighborhoods while porch hopping to see all the performances.
Expectations are that a lot of new connections are made, and the mission of Tower Porch Fest is to build community through music and art.
A map is available online to see which porches are participating. If you click on the porches, you can see the performances happening at each porch.
Feeling tired? Does your arm ache? Here are some things to do after getting your COVID vaccine. Krispy Kreme announced on Twitter that anyone who gets their COVID-19 vaccine can get a free glazed donut. If you received at least one dose, they bring in your vaccination card. If you haven't got your vaccine yet, don't worry. This offer goes through the rest of the year.
From donuts to corn dogs, let's talk about our favorite fair food. Tonya Guerva couldn't help herself and is live to show us what the Big Fresno Fair has prepared, even though it's not the official fair time. Tonya?
Missing your favorite fair food? Well, we don't have to wait no more. The Big Fresno Fair has prepared Drive-Thru Eat Spring Edition event, a 5-day food series with 15 food booths and 2 souvenir stands for kids. Here's with me Stacy Rianda, a deputy manager of Big Fresno Fair. Stacy, thank you for joining me today.
My pleasure.
So I have a question. What's so special about the fair food that people are craving it? They're ready to stand in the long lines just to get it.
Fair food is very special, and we have some of the most amazing professional food stands in the entire Western United States. And they all come here every October. It's only once a year that people get this great food that you really can't get anywhere else. So that's why people crave it, especially in October. But they're very lucky that we're bringing it to them nice and early in April this year.
I'm sure people are extremely happy about it, and I can see that people it's getting more and more busy. So thank you so much for creating this event for us. So about the line, where do people enter the fairground and where do they exit it?
They'll enter off of Kings Canyon into the lot where the carnival usually is during the fair, and then they'll drive through the grounds. We have everything all marked out. You get a map when you come in. You'll drive all the way through the grounds, and then you'll exit the grounds onto Butler Avenue.
Okay, thank you so much. That was Stacy Riande, the Deputy Manager of Big Fresno Fair. Thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
Tonya Guriva, Fresno State Focus.
Coming up on Fresno State Focus,
We show you how to get the most bang for your buck with those new stimulus checks.
And I'll let you know just how warm it's going to get. We'll be right back with Fresno State Focus.
At Fresno State, being bold means committing to something greater than yourself. It's learning by doing and nurturing leaders to advance our shared future. It's using research to create a better life for those around us and healing those who need us most. These are our stories, because at Fresno State, bold begins here.
Success. At Fresno State, it's no secret. It's discovering new ways to change our world. It's creating opportunities as diverse as our community itself. It's in the distinction of our graduates as they lead us into the future. Success is no secret at Fresno State. It's our mission.
Congratulations to our fellow students who were honored at Saturday's Arts in Motion ceremony for the College of Arts and Humanities. The Dean's Medal, the college's highest honor, was awarded to undergraduate Caleb Charles from the Department of Philosophy and graduate student Harrison J. Martin from the Department of English. Fresno State Focus's very own Robert Ortega Jr. was also honored as a Dean's Medalist nominee as a Student of Distinction for the Department of Communication. We're proud of you, Robert.
Our Sustainability Club is teaming up with the city's Earth Day organization. COVID regulations are not yet allowing large gatherings, so Earth Day is virtual this year and will be live streamed. Marissa Acosta, the club advisor, tells us all about the message they are trying to get out.
The club definitely tries to make sure that we're as inclusive as possible in terms of making sure that sustainability just isn't about the environment. It's about social issues as well. It's about economic issues as well. And so trying to encompass all of that in our Earth Day was pretty important to us.
The live stream will include over 12 local organizations which educate people about the environment. Before COVID, the event would have booths, food vendors, and live music. To take part this year, you can visit Earth Day Fresno website and register for the free live stream.
You can see it was a really nice day, not too hot, not too cold, and we had a little bit of a breeze. You probably just wanted to go outside and just take in all that nice just weather we had going on. And then taking a look at your nationwide satellite, you can see that the majority of the United States did get a lot of cloud coverage. And of course, in the Utah and areas around, they are seeing some snow and rain. And then of course, Michigan is getting quite a lot of rain and snow. And then we have Louisiana and Mississippi getting very heavy rain. Taking a closer look at your regional satellite, you can see that the mountains are getting some snow. And you can see that those clouds are coming in, so do keep that in mind for the future. And today's highs were in the mid-70s, which is good. And then for tonight, we are looking at mid-40s. And moving on to air quality, it was good in the majority of the counties, but of course it was moderate in Kern County. So keep that in mind if you are in Kern and you did decide to, go outside and take advantage of the day. And taking a look at your extended outlook, you can see those temperatures just keep rising and rising. It even hit, 90s for the first time. And I'm not very happy about that, but if you are, then that's something to look forward to. And since it is going to be very hot, it's just a perfect day to just go inside and just, take a look at Vintage Days, which is going to be online this year. And that has been your focus on weather.
I'm Robert Ortega Jr. with your look at sports. The Bulldogs had quite the weekend. The baseball team played Air Force and swept the doubleheader on Saturday, but fell short on Sunday. This was a major win for the Dogs. The coach, Mike Batesell's 601st win at Fresno State. Men's tennis took on Boise State and won 4-0 on Sunday at home. Women's water polo had a big win against Pacific, 13-10. This pushed them into first place tie in the Golden Coast Conference standings. Fresno State softball continues its hot streak after sweeping Colorado State over the weekend. This is the team's fourth straight series win, tied for first place in the Mountain West. The Bulldogs capped off their impressive weekend with a 6-0 shutout over the Rams. Pitcher Haley Dolcini had another great day on the mound, adding another shutout to her impressive season. Just last week, Dolcini threw a perfect game in the Bulldogs' win against New Mexico, earning her Mountain West Pitcher of the Week honors. And that's your focus on sports.
The second round of COVID relief grants are going out to Fresno State students. Leticia Leal is looking for her check and tells you what to look for.
Disbursements began April 5th, and if you have the direct deposit option selected on your bank mobile, you may have already received your funds. But if you're like me and waiting for your check to come in the mail, it may take up to 4 weeks.
Emails about the grant were sent back in March, and funds are still being dispersed by accounting services. The federal funding is to help Fresno State students with emergency costs resulting from the pandemic. The amount students receive is based on being a part-time or full-time student. The amount also depends on your FAFSA family contribution. But you did not have to update your FAFSA to receive this grant. You just needed to set up your bank mobile account and your funds would have been available automatically. And like I said, funds are still being dispersed by accounting services.
So if you have the direct deposit option selected on your bank mobile and you have not yet received your funds, don't freak out. From Southeast Fresno, Leticia Leal, Fresno State Focus.
With stimulus checks in students' bank account, now is not the time for a shopping spree. Whether you think you need a new pair of shoes or a cell phone, prioritizing your needs over your wants will help you stretch your stimulus money. Financial advisors recommend that students use that money for any big loans. For those who do not have any debt, they recommend putting that money in a savings account.
Saving is a good option, but investing it in something maybe in something that it's gonna grow down the road, I mean, is also a good idea. And if they don't need it, they should just save it and use it wisely.
If you do not have a personal financial advisor, the Fresno State Money Management Center could help you. They offer budgeting, credit, and debt management services. You can find them on social media and on their website.
Or you could go buy a car, which sounds exciting, but can also be stressful. To ease that stress, Tasha Turner shows us just what it's like for a first-time car buyer and gives you an inside look straight from a car salesman.
Am I getting a good deal? Are they trying to rip me off? Those are the thoughts you might have when buying a car.
I mean, I'm a high anxiety person in general.
Becca Matuspinet recently bought a car and says the whole experience takes you through a roller coaster of emotions.
I just bought a car not even 2 months ago. So it was really like exciting, but like nerve-wracking.
A car salesman says they're always aware of how scary buying a car can be for someone.
It's really hard to buy a car at times. There's so much information online, and the process is very different dealership to dealership. So we do our best to identify their anxiety and, of course, provide the information that they need to suppress it as much as possible.
Doing your research beforehand is something Matus Panett really recommends, especially during COVID.
Dealerships like aren't necessarily letting you like drive the cars and do test drives right now. So just make sure that like wherever you're looking at right now, like they have like a good return policy. Because what if you hate it like the moment you drive it off the lot, you know? You're not going to be stuck with it for the next like 10 to 12 years.
Even though it's been over a year since I purchased this car, I still remember all the anxiety I felt while at the dealership. But despite all that anxiety, I do have to admit, I do really like that new car smell. In Clovis, I'm Tasha Turner with Fresno State Focus.
It is also important to know the price range of the car you're looking to buy. That way, you only buy what you can afford.
The push to reopen Valley schools comes with fear and concerns. Academic coach Jose Gonzalez is currently working with teachers trying to ease their fears. He tells us what factors are being taken into consideration to reopen Valley schools.
The biggest factors to be taken into consideration are how are we going to ensure that everyone stays safe so that there's no one put at risk at all in, returning back to the classroom. I think that's one of the biggest factors, and I know that the district has been making that a huge priority in providing supplies and personal protective gear, and also making sure that, documents are in place and policies to ensure that, we're doing what we need to keep everyone safe.
Do you feel that with all the proper training, the proper gear that you've been provided, you're ready, or the teachers feel ready to start teaching in person now?
I would say, everyone's a little bit nervous, because you're transitioning and you were pretty much going the whole year with working virtually, and just hearing about how difficult it is to manage concurrent teaching where you have some students online, some students in person. But you get those nerves in the first day of school either way, like whenever you start a new school year, whenever you start something new, you have those nerves that always come up. So I would say, everyone's a little nervous, but I feel like we are ready. We have everything in place that we need, and we've been doing trainings throughout the year, and everyone's adapted really well to teaching in a virtual environment. So I really do. I believe that we're ready to have students back on campus and to be able to support them much more.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Gonzalez, for being here today.
Of course.
It's now time to meet a member of the Fresno State Focus team. We've seen him in front of the camera. This week, he's producing our newscast. Let's learn more about Trevor Widger. Trevor is originally from Illinois. While living in Chicago, he hosted his own college radio show and performed stand-up comedy. He is finishing his degree as an MCJ major here at Fresno State and is an intern for KFSR Radio.
A lot of stress moving across the country like I have, but I'm hoping that this journey has given me the experience that I need for a successful career in media, and maybe I can go out there and give someone like Ellen a run for her money.
After college, Trevor plans to pursue a career as a radio and television personality.
Go easy on yourself and get all the extra sleep you can these remaining few weeks before finals.
That's our newscast. We'll see you next week with more Fresno State Focus news.